What's up, gamers? Welcome to the Rose Tinted Ceilings live stream.
Chat, today we got two very special guests joining us to talk about Twitch streaming and gaming. It's going to be a fun episode. Alyssa, Avery, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
All right, I will. Hi, my name is Alyssa. I don't really know what else to say other than I've been like a stan, I guess, for like a really long time. It's embarrassing a little bit,
So,
but
would you say that you're an expert on this topic for today?
unfortunately,
Unfortunately.
yeah, not by
Avery.
choice.
Hi, I'm Avery. I've also been a stan for like a while. That's kind of it.
Now, in this whole industry with streaming, and the topic today, again, obviously, per the podcast, is going to be sexism. So just start us off. How bad do you think sexism is in streaming?
It is so bad. I think they have moments whenever it's like, this is like kind of bad to say, whenever it's like International Women's Day where they're like, Happy Women's Day, and they forget everything they've ever said for like a few hours, and then it goes back to how it was. Or they just like wait for somebody to make a mistake and they'll pounce on them immediately.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys have any examples of the pouncing, per se?
Remember when like Valkyrie had like that blue light like glasses company that she promoted?
Okay, for
And
those of us who
What
don't
is
know,
that?
Valkyrie?
Yeah, explain Valkyrie, the blue lights glasses. I'm not sure what
Valkyrie,
that is.
she's a Twitch streamer. I don't know what primarily she streams. I think it's just like games. But blue light glasses, I guess she was promoting them and people were like, well, this is fake. And she didn't actually know. And I guess they just kind of used her as like a stock image and she got like hounded for it.
Oh, wow. It's kind of like the cancel culture type of thing.
Yeah.
It's not like there haven't been male streamers that have promoted equally bad things.
I'm pretty sure there was a male streamer who promoted it before her and they just kind of swept it under the rug.
Probably because they were male, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I did not know about this. I'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah, no.
But Valkyrie, I know, has been in a lot of different things of that because I know she is one of the very few top Twitch streamers that are women.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be under a lot more fire.
It's like her and Pokey and I don't know how to pronounce her name. Amaranth? No.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's how you say her name.
Amaranth has her whole jar of worms.
It's sad, yeah.
I know one thing she talked about a lot, which I'm sure other female streamers have done too, is they'll talk about how they've actually gotten stalkers and how the police have done nothing about it, which I think is crazy.
Yeah. You can go.
Okay. There's been like an instance, I think this was her, but when somebody like called her on stream or something like that and was like leaving threats and stuff to her like on stream, and she had to get her mods to check on like her family and stuff like that and make sure they were okay because she was live and that type of stuff.
Oh my gosh. You got that extreme.
Or just like harassment in general.
Yeah.
Do you think doxing is like a big issue to these women too?
Yeah. I guess that's like a big issue to any streamers, but I feel like if it's like a female streamer, it is just there's like an extra level they can go to because they'll dig up your old photos and be like, well, you don't look the same you did whenever you were like 15. So
like, why do you think female streamers are specifically targeted then? If this is like something all streamers have to deal with?
I think it is just like a misogyny standpoint. I think it's just that they're like they'll do it to the male streamers, but they'll just like, oh, look at these little photos from when they were like 15. But they'll do it to a female streamer and be like, you were ugly when you were 15 and we're never going to let you forget it.
You know what was happening about like a year ago now with Pokemon where there's that one photo of her without makeup?
Oh,
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's what I was going to say too about the harassment thing. It's just like Pokey gets harassed like just under normal photos of she posts, it's just like her smiling and they're like saying like the most grotesque things to her.
Oh yeah, or they'll be like, you don't even look like that without makeup, and they'll like spam the photo under her comment.
Oh yeah.
I know Pokey and a lot of other male streamers, especially like Kitty Cinderella, they've come out and talked about like deep fakes too, right? Of stuff like AI'd upon, and I think
there was that one streamer who got caught with like gross deepfakes of them, and it was like a friend of Ludwig's because they knew them. And I think
Oh,
everyone just kind of forgot about it. They're like, that was really gross. And then they made fun of like QT Cinderella for like crying about it.
I think that's also a big issue where women on Twitch aren't really allowed to be emotional. Have you kind of noticed
Mm,
that too?
oh
yeah.
yeah. Like when Nikki Miachu, when she got like really stressed out about MCC and she cried and people like made fun of her for it for like months afterwards. That was like insane. Like I feel like anyone would be like really stressed about that. Like I feel like I don't know, like you put so much effort into it and it's like you just like lose. Like it's really stressful, especially if you have an audience watching every move you're making.
I
Do
guess
you
again with Nikki, I remember she had like to apologize for like crying on a stream. She was like, "Sorry, I won't do that again."
do you think she would have gotten the same reaction if she was a male? Would they she have gotten the same level of hate?
No, I think
Oh
they would have
no.
babied the male, would have been like, oh, "Don't cry about it. Like you did so good."
Oh
Like
yeah,
they
for
would have like
sure.
just coddled him and like held his hand.
They would have
So
like sorry.
no, that's okay. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say they would have been like, "Oh, you did so good. Like it's okay. Like it's totally reasonable for you to be acting like that and that type of stuff." But
So why do you think this double standard exists in like the Twitch community in specific? Because I don't know a lot about like kind of how people on Twitch act. So I'm curious about like what kind of built that type of mindset.
I think it's because like I feel like from the beginning, whenever like video games started getting introduced and started getting more popular, it was always more like boy based. Like you, I guess more in the 2000s, it was just like guys playing video games. Like if you were a girl and you played a video game, they would make fun of you make fun of you for it and be like, "Oh, why are you playing video games? Like you're a girl." And I guess it just when you grow up with that like culture around you, and then by the time you're old enough to like stream, you're it's mostly is just gonna be guys. So whenever girls come in and they're like, "I'm also gonna play a video game," they're gonna be like, they're gonna hold the same mindset and be like, "Why are you playing video games? You're a girl."
yeah, I think it's just like deeply rooted misogyny and stuff that's been planted in the community just since like so many years ago and stuff like that.
Something I did notice though, especially around like quarantine, a lot more girls were starting to stream and were getting into video games and watching these streams in particular. But do you think that kind of did make the issue of misogyny worse? Because of like all like the quote unquote fangirls that were coming in, I did notice a lot more misogyny happening. Was that something you noticed too?
Mm, yes, I did notice there's a lot more like female streamers. Like even then I wasn't watching Twitch a lot, but I knew it was like mostly male dominated. But I did realize like when quarantine had started, there was more like girls approaching streaming, and I think it was because we were all like cooped up inside, and then everyone just got an influx of streamers. But I did see a lot of female ones. I think that could have added to it. I think a lot of men were just like, "Well, you're only doing it because we're quarantining, and you think this is like the next like cash grab." Kind of like pushing them off, not like seeing it as something as they're passionate about, more like, "Well, you're just doing it to get popular."
Mm-hmm.
Especially with that thought, like when you mentioned Pokimane too. Like as
Hmm.
somebody who doesn't watch Pokimane, all I've ever heard is, oh, she uses her body to get people to watch her. Well, really,
Yeah.
when you look into it, it's people labeling her like that. So that kind of double
Hmm.
standard there.
Yeah, I think Pokey's like I knew of her before I started really getting into Twitch. I know she's been at it for a while. Like I know she isn't like started in 2020 like blew up over quarantine. I know she's been at it and like having an like a steady audience for a while. But I don't know if her audience has always been like that. Like I don't really know when the turning point was from when her audience went from like her little corner to like just like teenage boys making fun of her appearance and just kind of poking at her and being like, "Oh, you only have fans because of your body."
I don't know. I feel like her audience has kind of always been like that. Like I was watching her when she was doing Fortnite stuff, and like I feel like people have always just been kind of weird towards her, like especially because she would play with like other popular streamers, like male streamers, like at the time, and people would always be shipping her with all the males she would play with, and they would like always like clickbait titles and stuff like that, and be like, "Oh my gosh, she just said this to this guy, like they must be dating," and that type of stuff. Like I don't know. I think people have always been weird towards her a little bit.
And that happens with a lot of female streamers too, right? Where they're kind of just
Yes.
as a counter, like a side kick to like a male streamer instead of their own person.
Yeah, it makes me sad because I feel like a lot of times obviously these like male streamers don't have to worry about that because they're always on like the better end of that. Like if you're like Nikki Nichu and like Wilbur Soot, Wilbur was always on like the better end of that. Like it never affected him. Like they always saw like Wilbur being like, man, like they're dating, and but like it would always fall on Nikki because I remember, I think like around 2020, Nikki had said that she stopped streaming with Wilbur because people kept like insisting that they were dating, and that people would come into her chat and be like, bring Wilbur on, get Wilbur on BC, and never let her do like her own thing. So like
Oh.
by accident, unfortunately, she became like just another part of Wilbur and not herself.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen a lot of other female streamers talk about this too. If you don't know Kitty Cinderella, she is dating Ludwig, who was another streamer, and she went on and she talked to like different people's streams, and I've talked about how when sometimes they're both streaming, and on his stream he'll say something like, "Oh, I'm hungry." People will come into her chat and be like, "Oh, Ludwig's hungry. Can you go get him a sandwich?" and things like that, which I think is so insane because she built her audience almost at the same time or even before he did.
Yeah, I remember, I think we talked about it. I saw that clip, and she talked about in the same clip that people just don't recognize her as her own person. Like, she always gets called, like, Ludwig's girlfriend. She talked about another streamer. I don't remember her name or who, like, the boyfriend was, but she had to refer to her as the streamer's girlfriend, and they're like, oh, I know who that is. And it's just sad because she doesn't, like, they don't get recognized as their own people, even though they have, like, their own careers.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are already in that streaming community who have that level of awareness that you guys do might be able to see, hey, this person is actually their own streamer. But if somebody's trying to get into it and they can only know people as this male streamer's girlfriend, then that never gives them kind of the reach that they're looking for.
Yeah, it is just like upsetting because it feels like they just kind of get put into this box and be like, yeah, I'm just this person's girlfriend. I'm just like, ugh, it's upsetting.
That's something I'm interested in. Is do you have any of these male streamers whose girlfriends have gotten all this hate ever actually come out and like address this?
I think Ludwig's like the only person who'd like ever do it for Cutie because I remember when like the whole deepfake thing, I pretty sure he did make like a mogul mail video about it, but I'm not sure about anyone else. Like I feel like they're always so scared to talk up to like their like teenage boy fans because they don't want their fans to like turn on them, which is upsetting because it's literally your girlfriend. Like you guys live together and you won't even stand up to her to your like 14-year-old stands. Like they'll
And not even just
never,
like
yeah,
girlfriends, right? Like you barely see other male content creators stand up for other females in their same industry that they
no,
have
like their
streamed them up.
friends, yeah, just in general. And I like it is just like they're scared that their fans are gonna like paint them as like I don't know how to say it. Like you know, people are now like making fun of like any like liberal American, and they're like, you guys are like the woke mob, and you guys are all woke, and you're like going
Yeah,
very
yeah,
yeah. Like that's what they're scared their fans are gonna paint them as. Like they're gonna be seen as that, and no longer like some guy they watch on Twitch.
yeah.
And a lot of these streamers, is this how, like, their main job?
Yes, I'm pretty sure like almost all of them. I don't think any of them have like a second normal job. Like this is like their main source of income.
So
Then
that's a
it's
big risk then.
I know.
dangerous for these girl streamers to just be canceled on like the flip of a coin like that.
Yeah. It's so scary. Like I couldn't imagine like being a female streamer and like messing up once on stream and then having to like reevaluate my whole life plan because some people on Twitter thought I did the wrong thing.
Oh
Because
yeah.
mhm.
Sorry, keep going.
I was just gonna say like it's not like we don't see male streamers get canceled too. It's just they always are able to come back. They're always
Yeah.
able to come back after like a notes app apology, but you never see women streamers get that same level of empathy.
And even if they like those female streamers do come back, it'll follow them forever. Like I still see people bring up the Ray blue light glasses stuff like still even like when she said that she had no idea about it. But no, male streamers are always able to like just bounce back in a week. Not even sometimes it takes like 3 days and it's fine. They can stream again.
Or not even that. Like sometimes it can literally be hours, and like nobody will care, and like it'll just
Yeah.
like
It
I'm trying to think of the word. Never mind.
it just gets lost in the
But
timeline. Like it'll be a thing for like a few hours and they'll address it and be like, "Well, it wasn't me, so get over it." And then
And
suddenly
yeah,
it's
usually
fine.
the
Or
adjustment can be less. It could just be a couple, red hearts, and
I
suddenly
was
Yeah.
it's
gonna
Oh
yeah.
God. Love you guys. That's literally all they have to say, and it's fine.
Some of them I've noticed is like sometimes they don't even issue like yeah, like Maggie was saying, sometimes they don't even issue like actual apologies. They'll just be like they'll like try and give an explanation without even saying the word sorry, and people will always be like, "Well, guys, like that was a really well thought out apology." Like, no, it wasn't.
He wrote over
No, it
3,000
wasn't.
words. We should have like just forgive him at this point.
hmm Well, sometimes I'll see like female content creators have like a whole video, like a whole like 15-minute unmonetized video just for a joke that didn't harm anyone that they made in like 2008, and it's
Yeah.
still not enough for some people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like that double standard where it's like, when did that start? Like, when did we start like feeling that was okay just to tweet out like a love you guys and suddenly like it's all fine? But, a female content creator can like make a 15-minute video and thoroughly explain how that's not how she views stuff anymore. And it's still like, well, you still said it. So,
And it's really unfortunate because a lot of these streamers will come out and call out like the sexism and the double standards. A lot of women have been saying like, "Hey, this is unreasonable. This is genuinely misogyny." But to that, people just say like, "Oh, you're not being accountable. You're blaming other things," which I think is kind of dumb.
or they like say it's like, well, it's always been that way. Why are you complaining now? I was like, what time did they have to complain like earlier when you're just starting your career and you're scared that and like it's not gonna work out and that you'll have to go back to like a regular job? I guess you just have to like learn to put up with it. But I guess like once you get more secure and you're able to call it out, you also get criticized for not saying it earlier.
I know, especially bringing it back to like Amaranth, she said like a lot of things like, "Oh, I get stalked. I've gotten like death threats. I've gotten like people photoshopping my body onto things." A lot of people, especially males, reply that be like, "Oh, but like, what were you expecting? You're
Oh
streaming.
yeah, I hate
You
that.
Mm.
It makes me
Um
so sad because it's just like it's just basic human decency. Like you don't do that to people you know in real life.
So now
um
people think that's just how streaming is, and we're
Yeah.
not gonna change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
going off of Amaranth, that's how you pronounce like I okay. Yeah, so I remember when she was first talking about her private life and how she was finally filing for divorce, all people talked about was how mad they were that nobody like that
Yeah.
she didn't say she was married in the first place. But she was like talking about how she was getting out an abusive marriage and everything like that. And the first thing people focused on was why she wouldn't talk about that she was married or like that she was taken or anything like that.
I remember that. I remember like thinking like how insane is that she's talking about like getting out of an abusive marriage and the first thing these people are like attacking her for is like, well, why didn't you say you were married?
Yeah, they're acting like she owed them that information.
Yeah. Like she was cheating on them with like her abusive husband. That's really what they were acting like honestly. And it's just so surprising because it's like that's what you're taking away from this talk, that she's finally like gathering up the courage to like file for divorce over somebody who was like controlling her, and like your first thought is, well, why didn't you tell people you were married?
Yeah.
I think that's like such like kind of a weird intersection where male fans' opinions towards female streamers would kind of be like, "Oh, I hate you. I don't think you belong here," but also I'm still gonna sexualize you and act like I own you. So it's kind of weird
Yeah,
how these can both coexist.
it's like it's so odd. Like honestly, it's like a double-edged sword for them. They're like, "Ugh, well, I don't like them, but I'm still gonna sexualize them for my own pleasure. But I don't like them, but I'm still gonna watch them and donate money and get mad at them whenever they accept the money." That
And
like I feel like that happens to Pokimane so much. I feel like when she raised her like prices on like Twitch donations, and people were like, "Why are you raising the prices?" Like people still aren't donating to her. Like what?
and I know too, like even like hate regardless, a lot of women streamers still have come out and said like it is so much harder for them to even just
Hmm.
climb the ranks, even to get like partner, to get like affiliated. It's so much harder for them just because they are women. Are there like any causes do you think that result in that? Like why is it harder for them to even just get big?
I think just I feel like most people who watch Twitch or who are watching Twitch then had that mindset. They're like, "Oh, women aren't funny. I'm not gonna watch them." Or they'll just like watch like whoever's the top streamer at that time, and it's usually like male streamers, so they'll only watch them, and then I guess they have to depend on male streamers to kind of like promote them. But even when they get promoted, they're like, well, why are you promoting her?
Yeah, like all their popularity, like all people will say is blah 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 built your career. Like you wouldn't
Yeah.
have had a career if this male streamer didn't collab with you or whatever and that type of stuff. And it's like, it's just like I feel like it's so like I'm trying to look for the word. It's so diminishing, like to
Good
like
Yeah,
word.
that's a good
undermine.
word.
It's so diminishing to undermine someone's work and say that their career only got big because they collabed with a male, and like even after they put in all this hard work and effort into making content and stuff like that.
And that's odd too, because a lot of smaller male streamers will also get more popular because they collab with bigger male streamers. So I think that's not even like a male thing. That's just like a collabing with bigger streamers.
Streamers thing, yeah.
The women are always going to be the ones like attacked for that.
But like, you know, when it happens to male streamers and they do collab with bigger streamers, they'll never get those comments that are like, well, so and so built your career, so you kind of owe it all back to them. They'll never get that. Like,
Mm-mm.
it'll just become like a random fun fact for them.
Yeah.
Like if it's guys, like fun fact, this person helped this smaller streamer out when they were smaller. Or if
Yeah.
it's a woman, like you would not be here.
Yeah. There's like, you wouldn't be here at all without this.
The question I kind of have for you too is we talked a little bit now about how female streamers are treated in the industry. Are you guys able to talk a bit about how being female fans have like any experience with that? Like how has being a fan as a woman have been different too?
I just don't get taken seriously in my own interest. Like, I think I told Maggie and Avery this, but I posted something about F1 on my story one time, and I had someone who is a friend slide up and be like, he's not gonna text you back, like, you can delete it. And I felt so hurt. I was like, you think I'm watching these guys go in a circle for like an hour to have a text back? And I don't remember, I don't think I said anything because I don't know, it shocked me too because it was like from somebody I never expected to say that to me. So I was like literally just sitting there. I was like, well, what do I say? Like, this is like so like embarrassing. Like, I don't really know any words to say it. Like, it's embarrassing that you don't believe I would like watch something for my own pleasure.
Yeah.
I
I feel
know
like
a lot of. Oh yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say, I feel like I've also kind of noticed that, like, when a girl is, like, a fan of, like, maybe a content creator or something in specific, they'll always, like, get made fun of or be like, they don't want to talk to you or that type of stuff, like what happened with Alyssa. But, like, when a male is, like, a fan or something like that, I feel like I've noticed, like, people will always be like, that's so cool that you watch them too, and, like, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool, that type of stuff. Like, it's never, like, the same reaction ever.
Or you get like quizzed. Like, I think this happens more with like music. I remember like
Name 5 Nirvana songs.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
okay, that literally happened to me though. A little indie band, and I was like, oh, I know that band because I didn't have friends. Like, I'm just trying to talk to people, and he started like quizzing me immediately, and I was like, okay, I know like 2 songs max. Like, you can't do that. And it was just like, oh my god, you can't like like just say, oh, thanks and move on. Like, why'd you immediately start quizzing me to make sure like I knew everything about this band?
I know this also happens like specifically to girls who do play a lot of video games, especially the ones that are seen as more like male dominated, like first person shooters. Isabella, you're nodding. I know you're a GTA girly, so I guess you're really that, where they'll be kind of seen as, oh, you're only playing this video game to get like male attention. And it's like, what if we also just want to click some heads, you know? Alex, I know you definitely have experiences in that.
I definitely had that too with like what you were saying about music, like listening to a little bit of rock and then somebody going, "Oh, you listen to rock? What type of guy are you trying to impress?"
Oh my god, yeah.
It's like I can just enjoy something, it's not always like that.
It's like
Yeah. So I was gonna say something about that, but like I feel like I can't add anything onto that because I once did start listening to an artist for a guy. So
I mean, I did too, but like at least I had an actual reason, and it just wasn't like sprung on me.
yeah.
Well, one thing I've noticed too is women who just play video games casually are often have their skill more diminished. You can see this a lot in like women esports league. I'm gonna bring up Valorant as an example. I'm sorry, I know almost everyone on this call is sick of hearing me talk about Valorant. I get it, but like for game changers, a lot of people are like, oh, these girls are not even that good. They're not even that like they're dropping kills, but in the girls league only. But it's like they don't expect that a girl can be good or even enjoy a video game, which I think is kind of crazy too. Because it's not rare to see a girl play Minecraft, play Fortnite, play
No.
these.
Like if a guy plays casually, then just be like, "Oh, he's just learning. He just picked up this game for fun." But they expect girls to be pros if they want to play a
Yeah.
game.
Look, I can have a negative KDA when I'm playing support, and then I'll be called like I'll sit. People say I'm throwing, people say I'm bot breaking, and it's crazy how a guy can do the same thing. It's like, oh, you're having a bad game. It's genuinely upsetting.
Also, the same
I
thing
think.
about.
Oh
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
And the same thing about video games. Like, I feel like if you say you're a girl and you play video games, they're automatically like, oh, so you just play Animal Crossing? Like, immediately. And it's like, okay, yes, that is true, but I'm upset. Like, they automatically assumed it. They're like, oh, you play, like, girl video games. I was just like, what does that mean? Like, girl video games.
Yeah, like what is a girl video game?
To them, it's Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley.
Or Minecraft. There's always
Oh, yeah,
Minecraft girls.
Minecraft.
I don't think it helps that almost everyone here has played Minecraft.
Yeah.
But adding on to like the shooter games and stuff like that, sometimes when I will play with my male friends, they definitely, I know they're definitely somewhat aware of the misogyny that goes on, but they think it's funny because they're like men and stuff like that. And I've noticed when we play games with like voice chat and stuff like that, and we're doing like filled with random people, they'll sometimes like be joking like, "Oh guys, we're playing with a girl." And like all the guys just start getting weird and stuff like that, like in the voice chats and stuff like that. And I'm like, why would you even say something like that? Because it always like makes them look down on you and feel like they have to do something like about it or something like that. Like it's always so weird to me. Like, why is that your first reaction?
Oh, it's like that male gaze thing where they just want to look good in front of the other guys. They're like, oh, I have to put you down to look cool in front of some guys I'll never know. And I won't talk to after this game.
It's like sometimes when I'm playing video games, I'm not even gonna talk. I'm not even gonna talk in BC because I know as soon as I do, I will only talk if I have the most kills. Because if I don't, then automatically I'm just bad because I'm kills. So I just stay muted until I have like 20 kills.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember one time I was in a voice chat, and the moment I started talking, everyone was like, "That's a girl! There's a girl in here, guys! Target her! Target her!" And I was like, "What?"
So, like, how do we think we can go about solving this? Because we also talked about how in streamers, some bigger female streamers have talked about how this isn't right, like the thing about being known as a male streamer's girlfriend.
Hmm.
But if even a big streamer says something like that and still gets discredited, diminished, like Avery said. So, is there something that we can do from your guys' perspectives as fans to kind of help the situation?
I think it's like a culture thing. Like, unfortunately, it is. It's so ingrained in our culture just because it's like boys play video games, girls do literally anything else but video games.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's one of those things where it's just like you have to watch more female streamers and like actually support them. Like, don't just say like, "Oh, I watch this female streamer," just to like to prove that you do. Like, you actually have to, sit there and actually watch through their streams, and also just have their back. Because I feel like sometimes, like, especially in like stan Twitter, some stans will turn their back on female streamers just because their favorite male streamer is getting like pushed under the bus, and they'll be like, "Well, I like this male streamer more than I like this female streamer, so I'm just gonna go and support them." Like, you actually have to have their back and like back them up on stuff and like support and show up for them, not just like say you do, like actually do.
Mm-hmm. Um, I feel like this is like kind of branching off of that. Another thing I've kind of noticed is that people will always be like fans of female streamers and stuff like that, but the moment they get jumped on for something, I feel like everyone hops on that train and like they pretend like they never even like them or anything like that.
Yeah,
Or like they'll jump on them for like anything that they see somebody else criticize them for.
it's
Like
always
I've
a
definitely
I never really liked them. It's always that.
yeah. Yeah, it's always like, oh, I never actually saw the like interest in them. Like, what do you mean? I could go back like 2 months into your tweets and see you live tweeting about them.
I also think I think more male streamers need to say something because you get like good I say good male streamers in like quotes because they always have a chance to ruin something. Like Ludwig will say something, but I feel like more male streamers really need to like actually step up to the plate and be like, you can't do this to like every single female streamer. They actually need to be like direct with their fans and be like, do not attack this person for no reason just because they stood next to me. Like, you need to chill.
I think part of that also might be just like guidelines because I know a lot of this hate spam and stuff just goes unreported by
I
Twitch, by
know.
YouTube streaming. So I think, like
Or
you mentioned, just fixing culture and supporting them, but that also requires us to kind of expect a little bit more from like Twitch, from like Kick
Yeah.
now, I guess, to get stricter.
Twitch like kind of sucks is the thing. Like they'll never fully enforce it unless like they have their eyes on like a popular streamer that they don't really like, and they'll be like, "Well, you're banned." So like especially like in chats, because I guess your mods can only do so much, and you can only block out so many words until people are just finding really creative ways to just like say what they want to say in your chat. But I think a lot of this will fall on Twitch and Kick, I guess, to update the guidelines and actually like enforce them and not let it sweep under the rug just because they don't want to deal with it at the time. Like actually like be on it.
Mm.
So
And
do we want to maybe shout out a few female streamers that we should go support as like our little
yes,
ending?
yes, I have like two written down that I I love Cutie Cinderella so much. She is a cutie. I love her podcast. It's called Wine About It. I never listen to it. I see clips of it, but I think it's funny. Maggie said she does listen to it.
I do think she What About It is so good. The clips are so good. Shout out Cutie Cinderella.
She also hosts the Streamer Awards, which is really cool. It's so cool. They get like custom trophies and everything, and I'm pretty sure her co-host this year was like Valkyrie.
Yeah, she says she always wants to have a woman co-host to kind of spotlight
It's
some of the
really
women.
sweet. I love it.
It's really
And
shout
it's
out
like
Cutie Cinderella.
really well put together. Like the categories are always good, and the people who win always good. I love it. um, Maya Higa, I think that's how you say her last name. She runs an animal sanctuary for like wildlife.
Oh.
It's also very cool. She streams. I'm pretty sure she streams on like the animal sanctuary like Twitch account, and she kind of just shows off like the animals, and she'll have other Twitch streamers come on and like
Very cool.
have the animals. I know Connor Eats Pants went on one time and was freaking out about Frog, and I thought it was very funny.
Shout out
Um,
my heel too. What about you, Avery?
I think you guys should definitely go check out Tina Kitten and Sylvie. They both stream games and stuff like that with lots of variety, I've noticed. And I don't know, I think Sylvie's definitely caught some misogyny from
Sylvie
fans.
takes bullets, like actually.
Sylvie does
Sylvie
take-
and Tina both take
Sylvie does take a
bullets.
lot of bullets. Yeah. Yeah. And also, yeah, go check out Valkyrie too. And Pokimane,
I
she's
think
pretty cool.
I think her name's Andy MV, like that's her name on stuff. She, I feel like she's an actual like trooper for putting up everything that she does.
Isabella, do you have any women you want to shout out?
I don't watch a lot of streamers, sorry, but I'll go check those ones out.
Just shout out women in general.
All women, we got you. We got your back.